Hey everybody, it's Noah from Figure This Customs, back with another action figure video. Today we're going to be doing a top 10 Marvel Legends of 2020 list. The year's winding down, and I've pretty much made my last purchases of the year. So rule number one, I only collect comic Marvel Legends. Sorry, I know there were a ton of really cool movie figures released this year, but that's just not where my loyalties lie. The ones that you're going to see on the list today are completely subjective. It's not an objective list by any means at all, because it's completely biased towards what I like. And that's the way I collect, okay? I don't want to own everything. I don't need to own everything. I just want to own what I love. So if your favorite figure is not on the list, no offense to that figure at all. It's just, you're going to learn a little bit more about what I like, I guess. So if you do want to know what the most objectively good comic book Marvel Legends of this year were, I can tell you right now. I can tell you 5 right now. They're the best comic book Marvel Legends that were released this year, off the top of my head. Marvel Legends Shang-Chi. He was absolutely perfect in every way. Okay, plenty of accessories, exceptional articulation. I think he's the best articulated Marvel Legend out there. Yeah, hands down. The other one is comic book Marvel Legends War Machine. Okay, deluxe figure, plenty of accessories, perfect sculpt, absolutely incredible. Everybody loves it. You know it's one of the best. Okay. Marvel Legends Venom Pool. Yeah, it's a Build-A-Figure, but it might be the best Build-A-Figure that Hasbro has ever made. It's absolutely amazing. You should definitely check it out. What was my other one? Old Man Hawkeye. Okay, that's a figure that not everybody knew they needed, but once they saw it released, it's absolutely incredible. You can pick it up, no problem. Lots of accessories, awesome new sculpt, and it's great. And the last one, the last most objective best figure is Marvel Legends Carnage. Okay, that figure was absolutely cool. It's really awesome when we see comic book Marvel Legends get plenty of new sculpt and attention like him. So yeah, those are like the 5 objectively best. Again, those may not all be on my list, but if you're an objective person, those are literally the best ones. There are no other better Marvel Legends than those 5 right there off the top of my head. And you can argue with me in the comments below. Because again, a lot of it is subjective, and it comes down to what's your favorite and your preference. Let me know down below what your top 10 Marvel Legends of the year are. Now, without any more ado, let's get into my top 10 list. And here we are in the light box with not my top 10 figures. Okay, these are just sort of the extras that I had. Figures that I definitely picked up, and I'm definitely glad that I have that are staying in the collection. But yeah, they just didn't make the top 10. These are all 3 repaints, and Doctor Doom, let's talk about him right now. He just kind of slipped in between the years, right? He was slated for 2020, came out late 2019, and most people had him before the year was up. So he gets an honorable mention though, because he is definitely one of the best Marvel Legends that Hasbro has ever done. So all the love to Doctor Doom, but since he slipped between the years, he's not making the list. Next, we have Marvel Legends Gambit. This was a redo I didn't think I needed, but one that I'm very happy to have. The brighter colors just kind of accent my shelf a little bit better, and I love the effects that actually have the cards painted on. It's kind of a symptom of Hasbro at this point that they're just going to make sort of the dud figure first, and then they're going to re-release the brighter, better, more comic booky version later. And so you just got to decide sometimes if you're going to hold on to the first version or get the more updated one. So like that I have this, but since he is just mostly a repaint, a retool, he's not going to make the top 10. Storm is one that, this one I'm actually very happy with, because I love the Jim Lee version of Storm. And I had the white suited version, but that version was just too gummy. It just was so bendy, and it would fall over every 5 seconds, and it couldn't stand on its own, so I risked it for the black one to see if it just was a little sturdier, and it is! And even though I prefer the white suit version over the black one, this figure just actually works and functions, so I'm glad that I got this one this year, but it literally is just a color change from that figure. If they do release a silver one, which I'm sure they will eventually, I think I'll probably get that one, and if it is as sturdy as this gal right here, then that will probably be my definitive Storm in my Jim Lee style X-Men. And last but not least, we have Green Goblin. And now I like the original Green Goblin release. It looked really creepy, really scary, but again, I'm a comic book guy, so the closer we can get to those bright comic book colors, cartoony looks, I really do appreciate and love that. He just pops on the shelf, and he looks really nice. Nothing too crazy going on with this guy, but glad that I picked him up. So those are kind of my honorable mentions / just the other figures that I liked from this year. Let's get into the top 10. And kicking off our top 10 in the 10th spot, we have the Marvel Legends Riders What If Punisher, looking unrecognizable because I have modified him so much. That's another thing I forgot to add in my little rules scenario, that I am a customizer, so I regularly am modding all my figures all the time, just to get the most out of them. Now, when a figure does come out during the year that I want to get, it's usually because it has some new parts and some new sculpt that I want to use for a custom that will be my definitive version of the character. And that's kind of what happened with Punisher in this case. He just had some really cool sculpt. I really liked the way the pants looked, and the arms are really buff and really good looking. It's an awesome updated sculpt to the Punisher body, but I hated the head sculpt, so I swapped it with the old Marvel Knights version. Added some new weapons, gave him some custom holsters so he can hold his shotgun on his thigh, and a little pouch right there, and he even has a gun holster with I think it's a Desert Eagle in there. So yeah, just something to spruce this guy up quite a lot, but that's why I have to put him so low on the list, because I modified him so freaking much. He is unrecognizable, but still, I really do want to recommend the Rider's Wave Punisher, because it is an awesome sculpt and a really great figure, and the motorcycle that he comes with is pretty cool too. But also, yeah, credit to that figure for allowing me to have now my definitive Punisher in my collection. And moving on up the list at number 9, we have the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Spider-Man, the newly tooled, newly articulated Spider-Man. Very nice figure. This one has been modified as well, which is why he's so low on the list, but I can still recommend the figure overall. All I did to this guy is swapped his head with the Raft head, and I gave him some wall-crawling hands, because that is exactly what the figure was needing. He would definitely be higher on the list if I didn't have to do that myself. But overall, I think this is going to be most people's figure of the year. It's extremely well articulated. It's Spider-Man. Everybody loves him, and I can't get enough of him. So definitely glad that I picked this guy up and made the mods that I did. And next up in the number 8 spot, we have the Marvel Legends Bucky, or Winter Soldier, from the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure Wave. Now this is one that I'd been asking for a long time. I'd really been wanting a Winter Soldier. I picked him up, and I was like, oh, he's pretty cool, but he's not that cool. Then I sold him, and then I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I bought another one again. So this is one I had to track down again, so I kind of determined, I was like, no, you liked it enough to get it again. You should put it on your top 10. Not an overly impressive figure. Got some re-sculpt here, but we did get some newly detailed stuff up in here. I don't know. It's just kind of one of those figures that hits right in the middle. It does what it needs to do, and I'm glad that I have it. So he's going to sit at the number 8 spot. And at the number 7 spot, we have the Monster Venom single release, not the Build-A-Figure, but just a repaint of that already awesome Build-A-Figure. This is one I was not thinking I was going to pick up at all, and then I bought it, and I just could not put it down. It is just a repaint, which is why it's a little lower on the list, but oh my gosh, I just love what they did with this thing so much. Giving him the classic Eddie Brock symbol in the blue, highlights all over the body. It's just a figure that I love to pose and love to play with, and it's just totally worth the money to invest into it. But yeah, since it is just a straight up repaint, I had to keep him a little lower, so he's sitting at the number 7 spot. And at the number 6 spot, we have the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Rogue. This is a figure that everyone was really excited to get their hands on because of the updated paint apps and the updated head sculpt, but also because the old version was just infamous for being super expensive on the secondary market. And this was just exactly what the fans needed, a figure to crush all those scalper prices and offer a newer, more improved version of an awesome character with an already awesome sculpt. She's one of the best female Marvel Legends, and she still is, and I think this version is absolutely an improvement over the original. I like this head sculpt a lot more, bigger hair, much brighter, much better eye paint application, and this nice little accessory of the glove, pulling off the glove on the other hand, is just such a nice touch to show off her abilities. So definitely recommend getting this figure. She's going to be at the number 6 spot. And at the number 5 spot, right in the middle, we have another repaint, but a welcome repaint at that, is the Marvel Legends Retro Wave Mysterio. Oh my gosh, this is another figure that I thought I wasn't going to pick up because I had the original, but then when I picked this one up, the original looked like a joke. I'm not even kidding. That original figure looks like a prototype. It should not have been released compared to this guy. Just the paint wash into the already awesome sculpt, the accurate colors all over, the opaque helmet you can't see through. Thank you. Why did the original Vision have a transparent helmet? That is so ridiculous. Again, just another case of Hasbro kind of doing what they have to do as a corporation and squeezing all the dollars they can out of you, you know? So, I don't know. I like that we finally got this version, but this is the version that we should have gotten initially. So, Marvel Legends Retro Wave Mysterio, you've earned the number 5 spot. And taking spot number 4, it is the Marvel Legends Pyro from the Pyro and Rogue 2-pack. This was a must-have for me. As soon as I saw it was announced, regardless of the fact that it was in a 2-pack, I knew I had to have it. I am so glad. He looks so good on my shelf, filling out the Brotherhood of Mutants. Again, pretty simple, just reusing that Sunfire body, but adding the super awesome detail in the hair and his pretty intricate little backpack with the flame effects. It's just everything you could have wanted out of a Pyro figure, and the decision to do the molded yellow and then paint it on orange was definitely smart. He just pops on the shelf, he draws your eye, and he does exactly what he's supposed to do. I'm really glad that I have this guy, and he's going to be in the number 4 spot. Taking the number 3 spot, we have the Marvel Legends gray-suited Rogue. Now, it is such a refreshing feeling to get excited about a female Marvel Legends release. Nothing against female characters, of course. I am a big fan of many of them, but it is hard to get excited about female Marvel Legends sometimes when they just always reuse the same body and they don't do anything interesting with the sculpt or with the articulation or the accessories. And this is one of those cases that just really blew me away. While it is a repeated sculpt in most cases, I think that the bevy of accessories that they come with, along with the gorgeous head sculpt, was just something that really drew my eye and made me get rid of all my other Black Widows and made this my definitive Black Widow on the shelf. And so I just hope that moving forward, the team at Hasbro for Marvel Legends will continue to push the female figures into this category, where they give you more accessories than you need and just things to get you excited about collecting these already awesome female characters. So Black Widow is in the number 3 spot. And taking the number 2 spot, it should be no surprise, the Marvel Legends Carnage belongs on everyone's top 10. It is one of the most impressive things that Marvel Legends has done with a comic book style figure in a long time. Such an intricately sculpted figure for something that has always just been on a Bucky cap mold in recent history. It's so cool to say that they even got the sculpted web lines kind of on the head and on the hands. Those could have easily been reused, but they went the extra mile. He is missing in the accessories department, but the fact that he gets all new articulation as far as butterfly joints and boot swivels and everything you could really want out of him, he definitely earns his spot high up on this list. And the crazy thing about it is I'm not even a big symbiote guy. I don't care about Venom or Carnage or really any of the symbiotes, but man, the Venom from this year and the Carnage from this year were just too irresistible, so I picked them up and they're on my SpiderMan shelf, and I'm definitely glad that I have them. So number 2 spot goes well-earned to Marvel Legends Carnage. And the number 1 comic book Marvel Legends of 2020, for me personally, has to go to the Marvel Legends Deluxe War Machine. This was a figure that as soon as I got it out of the box, I literally played for like 3 hours. And that's not an exaggeration. I just had it in my hands and I could not put it down, and it was so much fun to just play with the toy, be like a kid again. And so few Marvel Legends do that for me, honestly. Like, usually when I get a Marvel Legend, I pick it up, I mess around with it for a little bit, and I put it right on the shelf. This guy was impossible to put down. I love that he was a deluxe release, and therefore they just were able to give him all the accessories that you could want. And this is just me speaking. If they kind of pushed more Marvel Legends into deluxe release sets, you know, and I have to pay $5 or $10 more, I don't think I would really be that upset, so long as they treat him like this guy and give us all the accessories we could need. That's something that I just thought was really cool, and I love that a character who's popular, but not like one of the main characters. I love that he got this kind of attention, and I'm so glad that I have him in my collection. Alright, so there you have it, folks. That is my top 10 comic book Marvel Legends of 2020 list. Again, please let me know what your favorite figures from Marvel Legends this year were in the comments below. I do love talking with you guys and hearing what some of your favorite releases were. I know 2020 was a hard year for a lot of us, but it was really awesome to be a collector this year in spite of all that. So thanks to all the people at Hasbro that make all these figures possible, and thanks to all you viewers who keep on tuning in and keep on encouraging me in my customizing and collecting hobby. I love you all, God bless, and go be yourselves.